My videographer throughout this process with the Espejo project has been this T-post. On this morning where I first cinch up the saddle on Espejo, I got out early before the wind started to blow, and so unfortunately the camera was looking into the sun. It's not the highest quality video, which is disappointing, but you can still see what's going on. So unfortunately, I inadvertently placed Espejo right in the sunspot. But fortunately, the last video where I threw the saddle up on Espejo's back and left it at that is exactly what I'm doing here. Now I purposely let that pad hit the dust there because that is the sort of thing that just happens in everyday life around horses. So the sooner he gets used to all the odd things that go on, the easier it will be for all of us. So now I'm going to let the cinches down and cinch him up. And since you really can't see at all what I did in this portion, I chose just to edit it out. So now he's been cinched up, and I'm going to turn him loose. So this is the first time he's had that feeling of a tight cinch. And I do make sure I get both my cinches, front and back, quite tight, so the saddle doesn't slip or turn on its back. So as we can see, he's pretty tight here. I'm guessing I would be too, if I were in the same circumstance. Of course, none of us are really all that interested in riding a buck, or most of us anyway. But it's clearly pretty normal for a horse to do this, since Mother Nature says don't let anything get on your back and cling there. Do whatever you can to get it off. So I find that it really works better to just let the horse work this kind of stuff out and see that it's not gonna work. You can't stop him from bucking anyway. So clearly I'm really not doing very much here. Just kind of keeping an eye on things and seeing where they go. Now pretty soon here, I will start to just work him as normal in the round pen, to kind of start to draw his attention away from the saddle and back onto me. But at the moment, he's really deeply working on what is this new deal. So now, interestingly, he's kind of switched from just bucking to, let's see if we can run away from it. So I can kind of help him out there just a bit by seeing if I can get him to change direction. So this is same old thing where when he runs on past me, I just put some pressure on. So there I'm getting his attention a little bit. He can stand for a moment and see that when he stands still, the stirrups stop bumping him and all that kind of thing. So now we just get a lot of repetitions of that work, so I edited it out as well. Getting in there and petting on him a little bit. And then send him the new direction. So here I'm going to just keep changing directions until he starts to kind of feel like maybe he doesn't need to roar around quite so much. Give him a minute here to catch his breath. So there, finally he's starting to think about maybe he could move off just at the trot. So that's a good start. Ah, little walk. That's excellent. So I'm just trying to help him to see that he can walk around this direction. So kind of the whole work here, clearly the first saddling had really raised his excitement level quite a bit. So what I slowly started to interject throughout the whole work is basically giving him the same job that we've worked on in the past, where he pays attention to me and allows me to ask him for these upward and downward transitions. So by giving him that job and giving him a job that he's got to think about, helps to get his mind off of the saddle and helps him to calm down a little bit. So this pattern is something that I'll use throughout the whole time that I'm working with him under saddle. Is when the excitement level goes up, give the horse a job, something that's going to get his mind activated and help to calm him back down again. So, his opinion is that running around, which is, of course, the horse's primary means of defense, is run, fear, flight, has got to be the answer here. So he keeps reverting back to that. So you can kind of see how I use my body there, leaning back and forth, to either redirect him or ask him to come back down, make another downward transition. So he's not sure that walking around is the best plan, but he's given it a shot. I ask him for a little trot. Back down to the walk again. That's great. He's really trying to hang in there with me. This is good. He's starting to see maybe I do have the answer to this deal. Usually I find that this step, the first saddle, the first cinching, is actually more difficult than the first ride for most horses, and when you're doing a good job of prepping them for every step. There's only so much you can do to break down the pieces of cinching the thing up. You've got to just go for it once you get to that spot. And that's a really odd feeling for the horse. So here I want to see, can I increase the speed and therefore the excitement level and still get him to come back to me? So now we're getting a more and more relaxed walk. And he's very in tune to what I'm asking him to do. Keeps giving me his attention. There's a little canter. And then drop back out of it again. Very good. Now see if he'll turn in. Very nice. And we'll call it a day there.